Hello and welcome to lesson 276. The word of God is given me to speak. Oh, well, how divine is that? After my little add on from the previous lesson. And again, I just said to Karina, I was like, that's so wild because I just felt like I had to share that. I just had to share it. It just leads us perfectly onto here. Um, and just before we go into the lesson, this is why the work that we do inside Inner Bloom and the work that Karina does and all of the coaches do is so powerful, because as women, we've been taught to suppress our voice. But the voice is what our voice is what carries truth, what carries love, what carries clarity, what is somebody else's guiding light. So we should never fear speaking our truth or speaking what wants to be birthed through us. And I have had many occasions where I have spoke my truth, which I'm sure you have as well. And you felt like, you got rejected or people didn't like what you had to say. But again, the meaning that you have given that experience is only the ego, right? Your words aren't enough. Stay quiet. They're attacking you. Again, if you were seeing that experience through the lens of God, you wouldn't be judging any of it. You would see that it's only their inner conflict rising to the surface, and the truth of who they are beyond that sees the love. And sometimes we can say things to people that we feel a burning desire to say, and it might not land with them straight away. Like, for example, throughout this whole course, me and Karina are saying things and they might not even get through to you. Your ego might be like, no, and reject it. However, I can assure you that it's planted a seed in your mind. I've had that happen to me many times. Like I've said to you throughout this course, I remember coaches, mentors telling me things years ago that are now resonating with me, but I couldn't hear it through the noise of the ego, right? But because we've done all this work, we've cleared, the mental distortions and lies and limitations, so then we can see things more clearly and hear things more clearly. So I always say that you are a vessel for truth. There's so much power in your voice. Do not be afraid to speak your truth. And this just emphasizes it. The word of God is given me to speak. I am going to share one more thing, actually, because this is so powerful. The other day, I was going through a real big shift internally, and I didn't speak to anyone all day. I just had no words. It's like something took my voice away. I had no desire to speak. I had nothing to say. And I had to send a voice note to the Telegram group that I'm in, and I physically couldn't. I physically couldn't. I was like, I went to go, and like nothing come out. I was like, there's no sound, and like then all of a sudden I went into panic and fear. That how I literally just felt this panic of, oh my God, what if I can never use my voice again? I was like, what if I've taken my voice for granted and now it's just being taken away? That literally fear arose in me. And I was like, calm down, it's fine. I let the fear go and anchored back into like, all is well, nothing to fear. But I'm so grateful for the experience. Why? Because it made me realize how much I value my voice and how it does matter what I have to say and how I do want to speak my truth and share it with people. And that I probably have been taking that for granted, right? How many of us take our voice for granted? And we silence ourselves and and we don't say the things that are on our mind or what we're really passionate about, because of these fears. But what if that was taken away from you? You'd regret not speaking it then. There's women around the world that don't have the ability to be able to stand up for what they believe in. We are so lucky to be where we are right now to say the things that we want to say and only worry that people might not like it. There were times where people would get burnt alive or drowned. Even now, people will get killed for speaking their truth. So, God uses the vessels it can. We are those vessels. And it is our duty to 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 speak the voice of God, to speak from Christ's vision, to speak truth into the world so others can hear it. That's it from me.
Thank you. And I love when you share the things that just come through because those are the things that I mean, I I'm going to be honest, I haven't been looking at the comments as much as I should, but I do see the ones that I'm tagged in, right? And some of the ones I see, it's like Sammy's story of like one of the random things that they're not random, right? random things that come through you. It's like that's what helped the lesson land the most. That's what transforms people. So I love everything you share. And yeah, the word of God is given me to speak. So we talked in the last lesson about the voice of God and what comes through you, and it's like a good example. It's like, yeah, we're a tool, we're a mouthpiece for God, right? And this lesson is inviting us, well, in there's several levels. Like I always say, there's multiple levels to this, but there are, right? It's one, to remember that the ultimate truth of our true nature, the ultimate, like, there is only one thing, and there's only one, it's not thing, there's only one, and it is God, and it is source, right? Everything else is just waves that arise on the ocean. We are all that one. We are all that one. And so to be mindful that our words reflect that, but also to trust that the intuitive stuff that comes through us, the it seems to come through us, not from us. If you watch non-duality teachers like Rupert Spira, Francis Lucille, um, those are the two that stick out the most for me, but maybe others, maybe there's other people that you listen to, maybe they're not even non-duality teachers, but there's a common thread. There's this idea that when they respond to questions, it's not me. They say I'm also the observer. They're not responding to the questions through mind. They allow whatever comes through to come through. It's coming from the body of wisdom. It's coming from that place of where all exists, all knowledge, all time, all space, that pure non-dual space. And and I've heard many teachers say, I was even shocked by the answer, or oh, I learned something from the answer because it wasn't coming from them and their limited knowledge. And so that's really the voice of God, the word of God is given me to speak. We all have that ability to tap into that space. We all have the ability to speak from there instead of from ego, instead of the collected knowledge that we have. When I teach, when I speak, I do both. I speak from because this character, this human loves books, loves learning, loves all that stuff. So I use both. I use what comes through and then I apply the knowledge to what comes through. And I think that that's a very useful method of teaching here. So, but still being mindful that it's not coming from, and I peeked at what the next lesson is. So I'm trying not to like jump ahead and get into that on purpose. But it's really about when we do speak from the ego, we place limitations on ourselves and we when the ego is speaking, it places unnecessary rules, unnecessary limitations, and enforces, not enforces, that's not the right word, but I can't think of the word, but makes separation seem more real. It's a simple word that's just escaped here, but um but it makes separation feel more solid and more real. When we're speaking from the word of God, it's always reflecting truth. It's always reflecting that oneness. It's always reflecting our true nature. It's always reflecting love and abundance, etc., etc. So the prayer is simple. God, your word is mine, and it is that I would speak to all my brothers and sisters who are given me to cherish as my own, as I am loved and blessed and saved by you. So we are one with God, and the true message given us to speak will always be reflective of love, will always be reflective of that oneness. Anything else comes from ego and fear. Sammy?
And that's it from me today as well. So we will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Bye.